So, um, I want to welcome everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. I want to welcome all of us to this session.
Yeah.
So basically, let me give a brief background of why I decided to run this session. Recently, one day I was with one of my clients, and the Lagos state government came to his place and they asked him to prepare some documents, come and submit to them. So he invited a consultant who would come to prepare the document for him. So when this guy came and looked at the list of the documents, and when he looked at the list of documents, he told this person that he's going to charge him 600,000 to prepare the document. So basically, I want to switch to sharing mode. Let me show you people what happened with that. So today we are working with majorly MetaLlama. So basically, MetaLlama is I hope everybody can see it. So we'll be doing our demo with MetaLlama. So when he told me about these documents, I said, okay, bros, wait, what's one of the documents? He said safety manual for a swimming pool. So let's check something now. I hope everybody can see the screen because I'm sharing the screen. I now went to artificial intelligence plan and say safety manual and SOP for a swimming pool that will be acceptable by a regulatory body. So now, so let's see. Let's see. I got this right. Okay. So let's see what Llama did. Now, I hope we can see what he's doing. So basically, I asked Llama, this is what somebody was charging 600,000 for. And within a few seconds, Llama has come out with the introduction, the purpose of a safety environment swimming pool, the scope, the regulatory compliance. So it just gives you space. If you can see here now, it gives you space where you can fill in the details. And it goes blah, blah, blah. You know, this is the summary. Then it goes down on and on and on. It also gives you references where you can also get more details from. So when I looked at this, that this guy that was charging this 600,000, that because of just artificial intelligence, that this guy just lost 600,000 because somebody had access to artificial intelligence. I now ask myself, in what we are doing individually, how many of us have been complaining that Nigeria is not good without knowing that what has been taking businesses away from us has been somebody who is artificial intelligence compliant? In fact, like I mentioned, I was looking at the medical profession, the pharmacy space. And there's something that is currently awaiting regulatory approval, a form of AI. It's called Medic AI. Now, this artificial intelligence has the capacity to predict with exact accuracy the right exact drug that a patient that walks into a pharmacy needs. It can take up all the symptoms. So let's say you walk into the pharmacy, for instance, and they have this screen that has artificial intelligence. All you now need to do is press in all the symptoms you are having, and this software will just predict all the things, the exact ailment that is happening to you, and from the stock that the pharmacist has, will prescribe the right medicine for you. Imagine you're a pharmacist. Are you still needed in such an environment? Or you are a pharmacy owner. Do you think you still need a pharmacist when this app can actually do all these things? And it will actually even tell your sales attendant the exact shelf where to go and pick up the medication. Now, this, for some of us, this sounds like rocket science, as in science fiction. But this is the reality of the day. But the question now is for all of us is, what even is this artificial intelligence? Like I said, if you look at the group, I downloaded what Llama. I asked Llama to tell me what we should talk about to generate a topic for us for this presentation. So what it started with is an introduction. What really is artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence basically means a machine having the capacity to do what is normally attributed to a human being that only a human being can actually do. Just like I used the instance of somebody needs to develop a standard operating procedure. Usually is the work of a human being to do. But when a machine starts to do it, that's where artificial intelligence comes into play. But then artificial intelligence generally is not a new thing. As far back as 1945, artificial intelligence had actually started. People have started going into artificial intelligence to check how can machine start to do what a human being can do. Now, it's actually also called machine learning. Now, this is actually a bit different from your normal computer. Now, your computer is, so let's say with a computer, you want to do 1 + 1. Now, you know that 1 + 1 is 2. Now, let's say you want to add 1,252,7,950,000,100. You want to now add it to 76,355,862. Now, you know that this is a calculation a human being can normally do. But what a normal computer will do is it will now accelerate it at a faster pace, which means these two things you've given it, it adds the two of them together and brings out an expected result that if you start to do the calculation yourself, yes, you can get to it, but it will take you time. That is what a normal computer can do. But then when it now comes to artificial intelligence, we now have machines that can actually reason and come up with answers and solutions to a problem you've given it. Now, for a long time, why most of us didn't hear about artificial intelligence all this while was majorly because before now, it used to be very technical. So there used to be a lot of very technical, needed computer experts to be able to understand what these machine learnings could do. So before then, nobody knew. Artificial intelligence has actually been working. In fact, all of us have even been interacting with it before without knowing we were interacting with it. For instance, you speak to your phone and it can give you some response. You have the Siri, for instance, that you can talk to it in your house, ask it to on a light, it can on the light. We also have the self-driving cars. Those are all forms of artificial intelligence, and we've actually been working without knowing. So basically, artificial intelligence is generally divided in 3 parts. You have the artificial narrow intelligence. Now, what this artificial narrow intelligence means is that what it can do is very narrow, which means, for instance, a self-driving car can only drive a car. An imaging software can only do imaging. So that one is called artificial narrow intelligence because its impact is felt in a very narrow space. Now we now have generative artificial intelligence. Generative artificial intelligence is where the system, the software, can take inputs that you put into it and come up with its own and generate its own answers that is different from what you have come up with, which means it generated the ability to think. So, but how do we transit? Sorry, the third one now is what is called the artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is the stage whereby machine can actually do everything a human being can do. Now, like I said, artificial intelligence has been there for a very long time. And the history dates back to the early 1950s. But because of the way it has been going, no, the ordinary human being who is not a computer science expert wouldn't know how to use it. But it doesn't mean that you have not been doing something. Each and every one of us here contributed in developing artificial intelligence, and I'll explain to us. Let's say you are trying to sign in. Let me use the self-driving car, for instance. Let me show you how you contributed to the development of these self-driving cars and a car parking itself. Assuming sometimes you are trying to sign into your Google app, you notice that it will ask you verify that you're a human being. It will now bring you images, tell you, click on vehicles or click on humans crossing a road. Now, when you are clicking on those things, what is now taking is taking those images that human beings all over the world are confirming that these are signs of human being crossing the road. So they are now using that image and feeding it into the software, this artificial intelligence software. Now, a major breakthrough happened, which is why me and you can use artificial intelligence. A major breakthrough happened in 2017. In 2017, the team—
Can you put on your phone?
The team at Google released a research paper that says attention is what you need, is all we need. So like I said, when they were developing there are different different models of artificial intelligence. But Google, some of us, there's a video I want us to watch. It's called AlphaGo. Before then, there was a computer game called Deep Blue, where it was a chess game between a human being and a computer. A grandmaster in chess. In the first game, the man won. Second game, the man won. By the third game, the computer won and started to beat the human being. That was the first time they realized that a computer, when you feed it with a lot of chess games, it can now use all those previous games of people who have played chess, use it to train itself, and now learn how to play chess. But then there's this Korean game called Go. So they now felt that, okay, can a computer actually know how to play this? They now developed this software called AlphaGo. And they use this thing now to train this software, and it played against the world Go champion. Now, during that competition, as they were playing the game, the computer was thinking, because for artificial intelligence to work, you need to feed the computer with a large amount of data. So the computer was working with the data it was already fed with. But at a stage in the game, this computer suddenly played a game far ahead. And people were wondering, why is this thing playing a stupid move? And the human that was playing against the computer just stopped and looked at the computer. The human looked confused. And suddenly, when they continued playing, the computer had gone, it was called the 37th move, had gone 37 moves ahead and was waiting for this guy there. By the time the guy got there, the computer had already locked him out, and the computer won. That was the beginning that when people now realized that. So what they used in training that computer was called a neural network. Scientists had studied the human brain, and they had said, if the human brain works in this way and can generate and process data, can we also design a computer network in this way that resembles the human brain, such that this network can on its own think? So what now happened was that they now came up with designs called neural network. Now, there are different types of neural network that computer uses. There's the recurrent neural network, there's the convoluted neural network. But they found out that this neural network, that the pattern called deep learning was the most perfect one. So what they did was, that is where the team from Google now came up with what is called large language model. Because before, you needed to feed a computer with codes and it would generate any output. But the team at Google developed something that is called a transformer. And with this transformer, if you put a normal human voice, normal human text, as we are writing without code into it, it will take this code, it will turn it into something that the computer will process. After processing it, it will generate ideas that you can use. That was the moment that generative artificial intelligence was born. Now, how does this thing work basically? So the way it works is, they will tell the computer that this is what letters, sentences. I want you to, they'll give you a sample of a letter. Use these billion sentences to generate a letter which is looking like this, which is the output. So there's the input, which is sentences. So they can go to the internet and generate a billion sentences from what human beings have written. They now say, this is a complete letter. I want you, using these 1 billion sentences, to generate this letter. Now, in between this space, in between this sentence and this letter, the computer started to think. As it was thinking, it was generating neurons inside it, that after it generated all these neurons, was able to produce this final exact letter that they showed it. Now, in the process of that, it's now generated that set of neurons that if you now add any sentence, it can generate now, without you now giving it that last letter, it can generate similar letters. I hope we are following. Am I making sense so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that way, the computer now can, because it has this input and it has this output, the computer can now use this input that he has learned how to do. So if you now remove this original input that he was used to train, it's called supervised learning. So you have this massive 1 billion. So what they did was, let me use something like OpenAI. OpenAI went online, scraped all the data on everything on the internet, and fed it into their own foundation model. So they have different, so we have the OpenAI that have ChatGPT. We have the one by Meta from Google. So we have this, they have different lists. So they fed it over 170 billion data and told it, used to train it on, this is what likely thing we want you to come up with. Now, in between it now, it was not generating its own brain, that I have seen how this thing came out. So with that, I can generate similar things. Which is why now, let's say this is a prescription, these are drugs. They now told this thing, we are giving you this 1 billion disease conditions and this prescription. That find out how, with the data we put inside you, how you can take this amount, this data will get and generate this prescription. So if this thing can tick in this space in between, and with time, learn how to generate this exact prescription, it means that in the space in between now, it's more like, let's use our ear now. This ear is the information. This one is the output. So this is the prescription you're giving it. This is the input, and in between is the thinking brain of the computer. So you gave it this one first as what you wanted to produce. You gave it this information. When it takes this information and it comes out with this thing, it has learned how to think in between. Now, if you remove this thing and give it fresh form of data, it will use this new brain it has developed to come up with this fresh data. Which is why, if, like the example I showed us, how I was able to generate a safety protocol from MetaLlama. It was because it has been trained with this data. So on its own now, once you just put, I want a safety protocol, it can now think on its own to generate this output for you. Now, the beauty of this whole thing is that because it has been trained a lot of these things. So let's say you are selling, I see one of us who sells cooking oil, palm oil. Because let's continue using ChatGPT, for instance, because it has been fed over 500 million data on the best way to package palm oil. If our friends now ask it, how can I package palm oil very well? It can go to all those 500 million information and select the perfect set of information and generate something that would work exactly for her own space. Which means if somebody has malaria and comes to an artificial intelligence platform and just puts headache, fever, body pain, weakness, this platform now will take this information that has been given to it, process it, and say this person has malaria, and for malaria, the best use case drugs are 1, 2, 3. Now, if this is being used in a pharmacy, the position of this exact drug has already been programmed on the shelf. So you can now say, go to shelf number 2, item number 3, pick 1. Go to shelf number 10, item number 7, pick 2. Go to shelf number 8, item number 6. Now, all these items would have been anti-malaria, analgesic, and multivitamin.
That's what I do.
Now, for the pharmacists here, don't be worried. Most of these have not been, the regulatory bodies have not approved it. But I'm just telling us the current reality. So, but what will help us now is understanding that these are tools that we can use. These are for our different businesses, for instance, like those of us who are into sales and marketing. If you have a particular customer now, you no longer need to create a generalized marketing tool for your customer. You can now say, okay, I'm a medical sales rep, for instance, or I'm a car dealer, and I want to sell to somebody who lives in a lorry, who earns salary of between 100 to 200,000, and who has 3 children. Now, what this will now do for you, it will generate the exact marketing information you need tailored to this specific person. So that you don't now need to, your company doesn't need to now, it's more like as you are going out, you know the kind of person that you are going to market, and the artificial intelligence software that you are using will generate the exact thing that fits the need of that particular person. Let's say you're a clearing agent, for instance, because I see some of us here are into clearing, and you say, I want to go and market in Aba. Come up for me what an importer in Ariara market that is importing crayfish would want to listen to, that I can use to convince him to give me his marketing business. So what it does for you now is it tailors it to you, to that person who is in area market, who is doing that stock feed business, the person's need, where the person is importing from. He comes up with a marketing material specific to this particular person based on where this person is importing from. So that when you are speaking to this particular person, he's giving you the right information that this person needs to market him. So that you are no longer using what you used to market a tire importer to market a stockfish importer. You are no longer using what you use to market a stockfish importer based in Aba to market a stockfish importer based in Lagos. Because the marketing is tailored to the particular customer you are dealing with. This is important for us because artificial intelligence is changing. Let me give you an instance. I was discussing with an MD of a company. She told me that she has fired her human resource manager. And what happened? She said that the document that normally takes my human resource manager 24 hours to produce, now I can produce that same document in less than 5 minutes using Gemini. So why would I want to pay somebody 300,000 every month for what would take the person 24 hours to do when an AI can do it for me in less than 5 minutes? What this means is that for those of us who are in business, if we don't start to understand how we can bring in AI into our business, because AI is actually shrinking the market size. It's also shrinking the available job. But what it's also doing is creating more jobs for more people. Meaning, if you understand how AI works and you can come into your company and say, this is how we need to bring it into our company to start to leverage it, to help us acquire more market space, it means that your company becomes bigger. But if you just sit there and say, I'm doing my business the way I am doing it, and everything is moving normal, like I'm very sure that that man that lost that 600 naira business wouldn't even know that he lost it not to another company, but to AI. So imagine you are now the AI expert in your organization where you work. Imagine you are the expert now. Imagine what you can do. Imagine the level where you'll be placed at. But most importantly, what it will do for you is that it will help you ensure that your company survives beyond now. We have about 5 more minutes to go. Because of time now, like I said, I'm not taking this. I don't want us to overstretch it. I just want us to understand the power of artificial intelligence. Anybody can, let me share screen again. Let's use, so this is, okay. So I'm sharing this. So let's just ask AI, come up with a marketing plan for, so who wants us to come up with a marketing plan for their business? Anybody? Okay, let's say come up with a marketing plan for a palm oil seller based in Lagos for Lagos restaurants. So you can see it's coming up with something targeted. So it gives you the objective first. It gives you the target market. It gives you who to target. It gives you, first of all, it has even come up with a brand name itself. Palm Delight, business name. It's to make suggestion for your logo. a stylized palm tree with a drop of oil. Gives you a tagline, pure, fresh, and reliable palm oil. And it comes up with a website for you, which it can actually, so you can actually tell it to design a website for you, and it will create a website for you. So it comes up with a Facebook name for you, tells you that you need to run targeted ad. It comes up with your Instagram, everything. So as you can see, we're just telling that that's for just somebody in Lagos. So if you look at now, it tells you to target, who do you target? Lagos Restaurant Association, become a member of it. Partnership with food distributors and suppliers. Attend festival like Lagos Food Festival. So madam, doing, who is the Pamoya madam? I know that you can see that it already has told you that there's a Lagos Restaurant Association, meaning that you can become a member of it. It also tells you that there are partnership with food distributors. So it tells you that you need 2 to 3 experienced sales representatives. And it now works free delivery for orders above 550,000 naira. It gives you everything that you need to do. Now, for people like us, if you see, say my consultancy work now is at risk. This is what I would have charged somebody to come up with just this item now that is doing for us free of charge, that is just posted here. All these things that I just shared. This is what I would have normally charged somebody like 1 million naira to do for them. So suddenly for people like me now, what I normally do conventionally is dead. So it means that I need to reinvent myself and ask myself, okay, how do I come in now so that I can still remain relevant to all these people here? So based on this, all we've said so far, I hope we can see the power of artificial intelligence and why we need to start to deploy it. It's not, earlier this year, I was telling my people about it, that we need to start to bring artificial intelligence into what we are doing, but I didn't take it so seriously until I started to see what this new technology can do. And I just when it hit me was the moment I made somebody lose 600,000 by just using Meta AI. And I realized that this same thing can happen to me. The same way, no occupation, especially if your occupation, whatever you're doing now is computer-based. Anything that is computer-based that you are doing on a computer can be done perfectly by artificial intelligence technology. So I wouldn't want to go into the robotics part because that is still a long way to go. The main challenge is when robotics jams artificial intelligence. In fact, I was listening to a session today by NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is the company that generates the microchips. It's called graphics processing unit that most artificial intelligence companies are using. And today, NVIDIA is saying that they have created a chip that contains all the neural network that you can embed in a robot, and it will operate exactly like a human being. Something is also coming up now. They are currently testing a technology where you can, so the normal artificial intelligence can translate voice from English to Chinese. And they are testing something now that can translate animal voice, like the voice of a dog, into a human voice, and can translate a human voice into something that animals can understand. It's actually being tested. So there's a measure. So, but it's not something we go in. What I just want us to, let's develop interest in artificial intelligence and understand how it works. With this few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince us that artificial intelligence is relevant to our business and that we need to employ it. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching for today's session. And I believe that